Jalen Brunson.
Mikal Bridges.
I'm Brandon Ingram.
Anthony Edwards.
Jaren Jackson Jr., forward for the USA men's national team.
For those of you that haven't been keeping track of the Fiba World Cup, Team USA just wrapped up their exhibition schedule. And with a couple of bumps along the way against both Spain and Germany, the US managed to stay undefeated at 5-0. Before the exhibition game started, people were clowning the roster, some even going as far as saying it won't even get out of group play. Part of the confusion going around is, for one, some people don't realize this is the FIBA World Cup and not the Olympics, where Team USA typically sends out more of the top guns. What a lot of people also don't realize is that the FIBA World Cup is still an incredibly important event that features 32 teams, which is a way bigger pool than the Olympics that features just 12. The reason the FIBA World Cup is important is because it helps accelerate the growth of basketball at a global scale, given how many countries are able to not only showcase the talent they have, but also be put to the test on a big stage against many other teams. Even so, the Olympics are held to a much higher standard, and this USA roster raised a lot of questions the second it was announced. But I quickly came to the defense of the roster construction for some pretty simple reasons a lot of people couldn't see until finally watching a handful of interesting games that understandably still mean nothing to plenty of those in doubt. I see a team that has plenty of positional versatility to help us switch everything defense remain effective. This in turn also helps the offensive side of the ball so that no matter who grabs a rebound, the team is able to maximize their potential for executing transition offense as efficiently as possible. But this USA team has two interesting dynamics that keep opposing teams on their toes. This is a team that mixes in a steady motion offense with Jalen Brunson as the lead ball handler, with bursts of faster play when Tyrese Halliburton takes the floor. With Jalen Brunson being the smallest starter, some people were questioning his ability to get things done through the length and physicality of international competition and its different rules. But he's a very steady hand at the one slot that keeps a good controlled pace of play. He can not only create for himself, but he also finds the passing windows that open up. He plays hard and is a natural leader on the floor. Up next is Brandon Ingram, who for obvious reasons is part of that roster building strategy of wing versatility. He has the length, size, and shot creation to always be an incredible asset on the floor, despite not yet showcasing his best basketball so far here. According to Brian Windhorst on a recent podcast, Team USA wants Brandon Ingram to fill that KD/Carmelo role. Up next is Anthony Edwards, the obvious social media favorite addition to this team, and he hasn't disappointed, showing up big time as the hero of the final exhibition game against Germany. He really brings his aggressive mentality in both games and practices, which is something USA Basketball has always made sure to keep a part of their roster building formula. Everyone's projecting this upcoming season to be a huge step forward for Ant-Man, and playing for Team USA will hopefully help make those projections come true like it has for the greats before him. There aren't a lot of players like Mikal Bridges these days, and at 6'6" with a 7'1" wingspan, he has the ability to both lock up multiple positions defensively and be the catch-and-shoot floor spacer that can also be counted on to go get a bucket. He really showed everyone he's more than just the 3-and-D wing that was on the Suns as soon as he got traded to the Brooklyn Nets. He's been both a disruptor of passes, turning defense into offense, and a constant threat on or off the ball. Last but certainly not least for the starters is by far the least appreciated from what I've seen online, making a massive impact from day one, is Jaren Jackson Jr. After just 5 games, I would say he's easily the biggest reason this team has been as successful as it has been. Shot blocking is an obvious skill he possesses, which this not so big team really needs. But he's also been putting some serious pressure on opposing defenses with his paint touches, forcing defenses to bring extra help on his post-up possessions, which allows the others some free off-ball cuts or open threes. Without Triple J, I really think this team would have lost one or even two of these exhibition games. Most people that only watch highlights will credit Anthony Edwards for USA's success and be partially correct in doing so. But if you watch those exhibition games, Triple J's been a flat-out game changer. Off the bench is my personal favorite style of play, which is what Tyrese Halliburton loves to do almost immediately when he checks into these games. Easily one of my favorite players in the NBA, and he fits like a glove on this team. He takes a lot of risks with some of the passes he throws, but when he's out there, if there's a window, he's going for it, and I love him for that. The team just knows he wants to push the pace, so anytime USA has the ball, everyone around Hallie is on a full sprint, which is a nice change of game plan that really works. He's made plenty of mistakes with his high-speed play, but it creates the chaos that teams aren't usually ready for. Paolo Banchero was someone I thought would be starting just because of the size and athleticism, but I'm glad to see him still find his fit off the bench. He really helps with rebounding, which is one of the weaknesses I'll talk about in a second, but he also is a big threat in transition alongside Halliburton. Paolo is very quick for his size, and he's had his way with plenty opposing players so far, but hasn't been the person USA runs offense through the way the Orlando Magic like to, which makes sense given the talent on this team. Austin Reeves has been a clutch bucket getter in very crucial moments of these games so far, really looking like himself even with his backup role. Reeves is one of the better shooters on this team, and being able to play on or off the ball is another reason USA selected him for this tournament run. Cameron Johnson is another one of those guys that was brought to the team for his positional versatility at 6'8", with his ability to shoot, and he's been pretty good for this team in general. He's had some really good games, he's been very efficient, and he's just serviceable in any type of rotation. And it's also good to have some extra chemistry on this team, being Mikhail's teammate during the season. Josh Hart is someone I was happy to see playing for USA, but so far hasn't really shown a ton. With the group stage starting this Saturday, he'll have plenty of time to show some productivity. His knack for grabbing 50-50 balls, just playing hard in general, is why I was glad to see him here. Bobby Portis was a name a lot of people made fun of, but clearly forget how important he is for the Milwaukee Bucks. If you're 6'10", and a career 38% three-point shooter that can score with your back to the basket and defend in the post, you're valuable, and that's why Team USA wanted him. Another guy that can play in multiple lineups. And lastly, there's Walker Kessler, another name I was very happy to see because looking at the roster, one of the first questions people have is rim protection outside of Jaren Jackson Jr. Walker Kessler had an awesome rookie season, cementing himself as a potential better Rudy Gobert that the Timberwolves could have kept had they not made that big trade with the Utah Jazz. I had high hopes for Walker Kessler because I got to see him when he played with Jabari Smith Jr. at Auburn. Kessler hasn't played a whole lot yet for USA, so I'm guessing he's going to be more of a situational piece for this team, and I personally think he should play a bit more, especially seeing how they struggle to rebound at times. One last thing people seem to be overlooking is the coaching staff. Championship coaches like Steve Kerr, Ty Lue, and Eric Spoelstra are at the top of some of the NBA's elite, who are kings of the chessboard in terms of adjustments and player management. And there's also Mark Few, who's one of the greatest coaches in the NCAA. This is an incredibly well-coached team with a collection of players who aren't divas and just want to win. Some of these players don't play for successful teams as of yet, so their hunger to win anything can't be underestimated. I've been super optimistic since the beginning of training camp, and I fully expect Team USA to make the finals and ultimately win it all. Thanks for watching this video. This is the All Things Basketball podcast. I'm your host, Vic Lopez, as always, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.